By this point, we've looked at quite a lot of different chords. We've looked at a ton of major chords and minor chords in different keys. We've looked at diminished chords. We've looked at sus chords, add chords, power chords. Soon we're going to be looking at seventh chords as well. And we've seen that there are kind of roadmaps as to how to play these chords. So take, for example, a D major chord, D, F sharp, A, and we play it in that order. Generally, that is a safe way to play a D major chord. And quite commonly, we will have the D as the root note playing as the lowest note. But did you know you can actually play those notes in any order? So if we wanted to, we could play a D, then an A, then an F sharp. Or we could play, if we had two hands, we could play a D and then a D, then another D, then an F sharp, then an A. We can play those notes as many times as we want to, as long as those are the notes that fit the chord. But did you know we can do something else? We can actually also play a different note in the root, which will give us a slightly different feel. For example, we could start with F sharp, we could play A, and then we could play D. Or we could start with A, then we could play D, then F sharp. Or any kind of permutation of that order. This is interesting. These are known as inversions of chords. In classical music, you can have a chord in first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, but the way that we're going to look at them is known as slash chords. So a way of notating it, rather than saying D in second inversion, is by saying we can play a D chord with an A in the bass, or we can play a D chord with an F sharp in the bass. The slash basically means that the way that we'll notate it is by writing D slash A. What that means is we're playing a D with an A in the bass. Or we can write C slash E, which means that we're playing a C chord with an E in the bass. In other words, the E is the lowest note that you're playing. Or we could play an F with an A in the bass. So an F slash A means that you're playing an F chord, but the lowest note is an A. This is really nice for passing chords or creating some kind of melodic interest, or harmonic interest I should say, and it's a really effective way of getting more creative with the chords that you're playing rather than just bouncing around the triads as you know them. So explore these slash chords. Usually it's best generally to use the third or the fifth as your slash note, but it could be any note. For example, you could play a D with a G in the bass if you wanted to. It's up to your interpretation, although there are some more common slash chords than others. But get to know these slash chords and experiment.